Hello to all my collectible investor friends. I hope that everybody is doing great today. I've been actually doing some research. If you're new to this channel, I do a lot of videos on sports cards and comic books and general personal finance information, but I've been looking into just kind of various alternative investments, other type of collectibles that people are putting money into. And one that has come across my desk as of late, I've really been following it over the last few months, but I want to make more videos on this. And so this is basically through eBay sold listings. I'm looking at 5 of the top graded video game sales. So for those that are not aware, graded video games is a thing. It's not just a thing, it's a big thing. I mean, people are spending some serious money on graded video games, and I think it's incredible. And some of these, and basically what it is they're fairly common games, a lot of them, but they are still in their original packaging and they're graded, and they're usually a high grade through either VGA or WATA is the other one that is the main grader for video games. And these things are unbelievably expensive. And I shouldn't be that surprised. There's been an explosion in collectibles investment over the last really couple of years now. We talk a lot about it with sports cards on this channel, with sports cards investing. But, graded comic books, Silver Age comic books, Bronze Age comic books, and modern comic books have really risen quite a bit as well. But today we're going to talk about 5 of the top sales that I saw on eBay in August. It's August. This is the August 2020 edition, so we will go ahead and jump right into it, guys. So the first one is a game that I used to play as a kid. Absolutely love this game. This is an all-time favorite game for me. It's Blades of Steel for the original Nintendo, the original NES. This one sold for $2,175. It's listed as a first print. It is graded by WATA at a 9.2 A+, and I guess they have this broken down as A+, and then I also have one that's A++. So I'm going to do some research on the actual video game grading as well. I might make a separate video on the grading companies. But this one, I absolutely love this game. And so essentially it's just that game in the original packaging. Now the first print in the subject line makes me think that maybe there was additional prints that came after this one. I would like to learn more about this. This is also a research project for me too, guys. I'm trying to learn as much as I can about graded video games. So for those that know a lot or investing in graded video games, please feel free to comment below because I want to learn as much as I can about this. All right, next up we've got an original Nintendo, and it's WWF WrestleMania. Before it was WWE, it was WWF. This is a factory sealed original game. And it sold for $2,202.77. It is also graded by WATA in a 9.6 A++. So it's obviously in very good condition. I think the one thing I'm interested in with this is the scarcity. Was that WrestleMania game more scarce than other regular Nintendo games? It's the supply and demand that I'm really interested in with these Nintendo games, because I think in the raw there's probably a fair amount. It's just how many of them grade at a 9.6, how many graded copies are there out there. So as I said, this one sold for over $2,000 as well at $2,202.77. That was actually, I remember that game. These original Nintendo games give me some nostalgia, so love talking about them. All right, next up, Super Mario 64, and this is for the Nintendo 64. It was released in 1998. Again, this is not a very old, if you're looking, this is a 22-year-old game. It is sealed. It's brand new in box, sealed. It is graded as a VGA 85 Near Mint Plus, and this one sold for $5,000. So I don't know, just because Nintendo 64, I would have to believe that Nintendo 64 games are more rare than some of the NES and the Super Nintendo stuff, because I just don't know how long they were really producing that Nintendo 64. I remember it when I was a kid. I just don't remember it lasting long enough to really get inundated on that console. So if anyone has any feedback on the Nintendo 64, again, I'm learning as I go here. So, but that original Super Mario game, for Nintendo 64 sold recently $5,000 for a graded copy. That's wild. All right, next up, this is one of my all-time favorites, Hadouken! It's the Street Fighter 2 game for Super Nintendo. This one, again, now this is a very common game, and I didn't see where there was, a variance to it, any sort of limited edition copy or anything like that. But it is the original Street Fighter 2 game for the Super Nintendo. It's factory sealed, and it's from the 90s. So it's an old game. I mean, it's over 20 years old for sure. And it also graded at a VGA 85, and it sold for about $2,500, $2,499. So and again, that is a very common game. I'm curious to know, if maybe there is some added variance to it that I'm not aware of. But it might be common, but it might not be common in that high of a grade. So that's the thing that interests me a lot. All right, and then last but not least, this is the one where I put a video, or I put a little clip in the beginning of this video to bring back some nostalgia for you people that have played this game. I remember this game when I was a kid. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for the original Nintendo. And this was such a classic game. I could never even get close to beating this game as a kid. Not even close. Not even in a million years. I don't even know if I ever got to Mike Tyson. I struggled with this game. But this copy, new in box, it's a WADA graded 9.4. So it's a highly graded one. I would love to see if there's, in sports cards you have population reports that show exactly how many of each card are out there in the wild, and I'm curious to know. I should check out that WADA website and VGA and just see if they have a population report, because that would be very helpful when looking at these sales. This one sold for $34,988. And now granted, this is a classic, and this is such a pop culture game to me. I mean, Mike Tyson is such a pop culture phenomenon in general, but this game in particular for the original Nintendo, and then of course it was switched over. I think they lost licensing rights with Mike Tyson, so it switched over to just Punch-Out, and then the game changed to some degree. So, but man, 35 grand for this thing. So again, the curiosity for me is how many are in the wild? How many of these are still out there just that are not graded? Because then, that makes me wonder, how many people are sitting on these and that need to get them into grading, if that's the sort of, upgrade in price that you're looking at for a highly graded copy that's sealed. I don't know. And you know what? Maybe there's just not that many sealed copies. Who knows? But anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining. I know a lot of my audience follows for other types of things, it's mostly sports cards that I talk about. So thank you. I'm fascinated by all things collectibles. And so I'm going to have more on the channel, whether it be rare comic books, graded video games, maybe graded action figures, those sorts of things. All the pop culture collectible stuff that has absolutely skyrocketed. I love talking about it. So guys, in the comments, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, comment below, let me know what you think. I just want to get some feedback from you all, especially too for my sports card people. Are you also into comic books? Are you also into action figures? Are you also into graded games? I want to know. So thank you very much for tuning in. If you have not subscribed yet, tune in for daily content. We have new videos that come out every single day. Thanks again, guys. We will talk to you later.